It's a beautiful morning to everyone. How you all doing? I hope you're doing great. Are you feeling all right? Yeah, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning and in the month of July. And you're welcome to Newspaper Review on Lagoonradio as we're broadcasting live to you from Marina, Lagos, and also connected to our Facebook page and our YouTube channels for the visuals. Yeah, I have here with me in the studio two other beauties. Inina. Able Abi Nina Abigail Umba and Taiwo Adeola Shabiolege. Yeah, they'll be joining me on the newspaper review this morning. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Twitter and Instagram. I still keep saying Twitter. I'm actually hopeful, really. Yeah, at Lagoon Radio NG as well. Okay, and if you actually want to put a face to the voices you're hearing, Abigail, say good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Sharp.
Good morning.
Okay, now you've heard their voices. So if you actually need to put a face to the voices you just heard, just go to our YouTube channel, LagoonTV, and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on your notifications as well. Okay, from the first page of the People's Daily, you know, we are in the democratic ward, the government by the people, for the people, and of the people, with the people, beside the people, on the people, everything.
You're saying it well. Government of the FIFU,
by the FIFU, for the FIFU. All right. Going on to the People's Dailies, boldly written on the front page, Kanu Igboho, we won't condone plots to spite Nigeria's unity, says presidency. You can get that on page 4 of the People's Dailies. And I think recently it's been the case of Kanu Namdi and Sunday Igboho, you know, up and down, and all like that. Okay, and still on the People's Dailies, bandits kill 21 in Katsina village, and the writer on the dart has Rev'd the cry Kaduna killings and abductions. You can get that on page 5 of the People's Dailies as well. PDP opposes rumored plan to promote Magu. Okay, that's on page 5 of the People's Dailies as Buhari commissions 1.52 megawatt solar power plant in Abuja. Still on page 5, and moving to page 2 of the People's Dailies, reps move to curb child exploitation, internet crimes. Wow, okay. Move to curb. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a very good one. It's a very good one. I had to read the move to curb. Yeah, it's a good move. And
but they should land. They should not just move. They should arrive.
The movement is not the important thing. The landing is the most important thing, really. Then going to page 3 of the People's Dailies with project $1 billion revenue. Leather industry is imminent game changer, says Oshimbajo. Okay, leather industry. I think leather
the front page picture is actually the vice president and a couple of other people.
Yeah.
Inspecting leather works.
Yeah,
Shoes.
The vice president, the minister of science and technology, Senate committee on science and and all that. Yeah, so I think it's actually a very good one as well. Then on page 4 of the People's Dailies, Sultan tax traditional rulers on COVID-19 vaccination campaign. We can get that on page 4 of the People's Dailies.
And moving on to the Nigerian pilot, you can see there Buhari commends security agencies over arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. Manhunt for Igboho has also started. That can be found on page 6 of the Nigerian pilot. Also, we haven't decided on electronic transmission of results. The speaker is saying this is regarding the elections coming up, and this can be found on page 5 of the Nigerian pilots. It's time bomb. This is I have to take a pause there. Just know it's time bomb. This is written boldly with bread, and the writer under that says, Governor Diri says it's injustice to allot 3% of oil revenue to host communities. Also insists southern states won't yield on 10% allocation to host communities, that 30% profit of NNPC for frontier exploration is unthinkable and unacceptable, and also maintains that there is no going back on the ban on open grazing in Bayelsa State. This can be found on page 8. I want to say something about this yesterday when we're reviewing this, and the host communities that we're talking about is the communities where oil is found, oil is generated from in Nigeria. You're giving them 3% of the revenue. How far does 3%, what's 3%? How far does 3% go for those communities? They should be the ones benefiting the most. The oil companies, the oil companies owe these communities, they have obligations to these communities. They should provide schools, they should provide good roads, there should be electricity. People around there should enjoy electricity. So 3%, honestly speaking, doesn't do it. So does the
it's nothing.
Yeah, so I feel like this is a good call. They should insist on getting more so that we don't have this issue of banditry. Before the whole Boko Haram thing, we had there were bandits, right? The Niger Delta militants. We won't have all this militant thing coming up because people are not satisfied. You have so many oil companies in a community, and the members of that community are suffering. That's just unacceptable. So yeah, that's a good call from the governors. Of course, that can be found on page 8 on the Nigerian pilot. Also, UK Parliament to debate Nnamdi Kanu's repatriation to Nigeria. Okay, that can be found on page 6. Okay. Healing program of civil war not effective. If you want to find out more about that, Senator Ayin is the one saying that on page 8 of the Nigerian pilot. Lai Mohammed's confession that APC produced a one-chance government vindicates us. PDP is coming out to say. That can be found on page 9. And again, bandits attack Castina community and kill 19 people and also burn down houses. Very unfortunate. That can be found on page 8 of the Nigerian pilots. Southern reps back governors on presidency, PIB others. That can be found on page 10. Alleged 5.2 billion naira fraud. Court remands ex-JAMB registrar Ojerin Day. That can be found on page 11. And finally, on the Nigerian pilots, leather product industry leather products industry worth over $1 billion, says Osimba and Joe. So leather is about to become very expensive. Do you even own anything made of leather? Our handbags are made of leather.
Yes, your shoes.
Is it
shoes?
No,
pure
like,
leather?
I'm just.
Is it pure leather?
Like, pure leather.
Yeah.
Do you have?
Handbags, yes, we have. Your shoes are made of leathers.
Well,
I prefer fabrics, please.
leather is good, about to come in vogue again. So yeah.
Gown. So
And that's
leather
because it
is
become
also people using belts. You're in for it.
Yeah.
You're really in for it. Yeah.
As well.
All right, moving on to the New Telegraph newspaper. At the very top of it, we have the foreign carriers operate 1,871 flights to Nigeria. NCAA, and the writer to that says, NAMA simulates crash ahead ICAO's audit. And of course, you can get this story. It's actually on the front page, but you can continue reading on page 5 of the New Telegraph. NNPC, Nigeria's investment in petroleum down by 30%. You can get the story on page 5 as well of the New Telegraph. All right, PIB Lawan constitutes 7-man committee. You can get the story on page 2 and 4 of the New Telegraph. Fidelity Bank fault report on ex-MD's probe. You can still get this story on page 2 of the New Telegraph. UK Parliament debates Kanu's repatriation today. And the writer to that says, arrest of Kanu Igboho, men returns claim sanity to Nigeria, says president. So you can get the story on page 8 of the New Telegraph. Alleged 900 million fraud. Court remands ex-JAMB registrar Ojerin Day in prison. You need to see the picture on the front. You need to see the picture of the man. It's like this.
When they were stealing the money, he did not know.
I'm in it already. I'm in for this. All right, can get the story on page 4 of the New Telegraph newspaper. And boldly written on the front page is Nigeria still haunted by ghost of civil war.
Who saw the ghosts? Like, it's actually funny. Did they get ghost seers or what? Ghost seekers? Who saw the ghosts?
The thing is,
I think this is a metaphor somehow.
Yeah. Because I actually want to liken it to this headline I saw some times ago that police arrested 2 evil spirits.
Yes, I remember. That was.
So if the Nigerian police can arrest evil spirits,
how much more ghosts?
They can see ghosts.
So definitely. Well, Enyim has said, and it explains why Wounds refuses to heal, urges country to emulate Rwanda's post-war policy. And also, we've saved Nigeria from another war.
Daniel.
Please.
I'm just asking.
You can get all this on pages 2 and 7 of the New Telegraph newspaper. Our Southern Governor's Lagos declaration will be hard to achieve, PDP chieftain. And the writer to that says Southern Reps autumn back PIB rotational presidency anti-open grazing laws. Others as Arewa youth kick site agitations in the South. You can get these stories on page 2 and page 3 of the New Telegraph. And also at the very side, SDGs, Nigeria faces COVID-19 induced setback, says IMF. And the writer to that also says no magnetic effect around jobs, federal government, as Nigerian utilizes 3.9 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine. You can get the stories on pages 2 and 20, pages 5, 25 of the New Telegraph. And at the very bottom, series of sleep loss impacts mental and physical well-being. Well, this is a matter of the health. You might want to take a look at it on page 26 of the New Telegraph.
True. It's true. It is good to have series of sleep as well. Okay. Moving on to blueprint papers, and right at the top, the right-hand corner, draconian media law. Newspaper begin front page protest July 12th. Okay, you can get the gist on page 5 of the blueprint papers, and still at the right and corner, Nigeria, Pakistan target $1 billion bilateral trade on automotive parts and textiles. Okay, things are about to get hot right now. We can get it on page 20 of the blueprint papers. And at the top, I'm aware of your inadequate equipment funding, Buhari tells Army.
Wow.
At last.
Wow. Oh, wow. So he's aware of that inadequate funding.
As in, wow.
So, wow.
Wow.
So
wow.
What are we doing about that?
Wow. And the writer on the that urges new tactics in insurgency fight.
We have catapults now. That's a new tactic to fight insurgency. We have catapults.
As in the Amotekun tactics. Also lauds troops for saving nation from disintegration. Wow. Okay, you can get that on page 6 of the blueprint papers. And moving on, Nigeria records 4,919 oil spills in 6 years, says minister. You can get the full details on page 23 of the blueprint papers, and boldly written on the front page of the blueprint papers, NEF CNG, Yabagi to Southern governance. North can't be gagged on 2023 presidency. You can get that on page 6 of the blueprint, and the writer on the dat influence your parties on zoning, says the Northern Elders, as governors, Northern collaborators, we fail, action divisive. That's from the coalition Yabagi, and we will lobby northern stakeholders, Diri assures, as Southern reps backs governors, starts negotiation for Igbo presidency. Oaneze tells Amechi, Obi, Humai, and others. Still on the blueprint papers.
now that names have actually been listed, I finally figured that when I say telling Amechi, well, Peter Obi might just be the only qualified person at the moment. If anybody is going to rise from the East, he might just be the only one. But these other names, I don't know.
Gang. Okay. Still on the front page of the blueprint papers, bandits kill 21 in Katsina, 7 soldiers injure 5 in Kebbi. And right under that, Bethel El-Rufai condoles with families of slain troops. Okay, can get his
condolence
message on page 7 of the blueprint papers. Still on COVID-19 matters, anti-vaccine campaigners on the prowl. NFHCDA cries out. Can get that on page 8 of the blueprint
do they
papers.
have a
like
record
anti-vaccine
of the number of people who have been vaccinated?
I
think that might encourage, because I recently saw a video, though those sort of things don't even appeal to me, but I saw a video where someone is saying people who have been vaccinated are now, they like magnets. If you put anything that has magnets, it stays on their body.
Who?
And I'm like, huh?
Oi.
You know, so many conspiracy videos and all of that and write-up against this vaccine. So I'm saying, what's the number of people that have actually been vaccinated in Nigeria? What's their status at the moment? Can there be like a report? Like we had live reports of COVID cases.
Yeah.
Can there also be a report of the number of people who have been vaccinated and those who are yet to be vaccinated? So maybe people can be encouraged to go if there is nothing to hide.
Then also make everyone aware of the reactions of
the potential side effects.
Yeah, the potential side effects and all that. You don't need to hide things.
Yeah.
Really, we are different. Our natures are different, but at the same time, a lot of people are really scared to get vaccinated, so as to avoid stories that touch the heart. And so that maybe after you get vaccinated, after 6 months, you'll now be seeing news that, oh, we are sorry, there are some antibodies inside the vaccine and all that. So at least there should be a proper orientation and awareness as well. Okay, still on blueprint papers, cancelled Hajj, intended pilgrims to gain from deposits, says NACON. We can get it on page 7 of the blueprint papers. As 10 die as cholera spreads to 4 FCT cancels. Wow.
Still have cases of cholera?
Yeah, we still do. Really. We still
There
do.
are some places that are not too,
hygienic or water.
Yeah.
We still do. So we can get up on page 18 of the blueprint papers. Sodomy. 65-year-old man defiles boy in Anambra. Why am I the one reading this?
Don't worry, calm down. We'll get there.
65-year-old
man defiles boy in Anambra. You can get that on page 15 of the blueprint papers.
I saw this post where someone said that a pastor had reported that his child was molested by a mature man, and he had taken the case to the police, right? And the police were not really taking action, and he got a lawyer involved. So the lawyer is the person writing that somehow the man whose daughter was molested went behind his back and got 200,000 naira from the perpetrator to drop the case. And then he came back to his lawyer saying, I want to drop the case. But the case was already in court. And luckily for them, the judge says, no. This case is going to, trial is going to happen. So, but this sort of news, that's what we're talking about, molestation. We're going to be talking about this further by Monday on morning issues. So, yeah.
It's getting interesting.
Stay connected. Okay, time's on our side. Let's move on straight to leadership newspaper. At the top there, PIB, federal government, all majors to meet over grey areas. That can be found on page 4 of the leadership newspaper. Rotational presidency unconstitutional. What? Rotational presidency unconstitutional. Northern leaders tell southern governors, excuse me, in the same okay, we'll come back to that. But really? Okay.
Can you just imagine?
The rider under that says, say we'll resist attempts to bar northern aspirants. Is anybody barring them?
We're saying barring. We're just trying to make things clear here. It's meant to go round. I mean, you don't have to have a particular.
So how is it unconstitutional? I need to go and restudy the constitution of this country. Anyway.
They need to read to understand the constitution.
So they're still on the whole rotational presidency thing. They also accuse Zulum, Ganduje, El Rufai, Shetima of selling out, and also fought governors on September 1 takeoff of grazing bar. So all of this can be found on page 4. So they don't want the eastern governors to protect their people, really. Anyway, gunmen kill 21 villagers in Castina State. This is the kind of news we get from them. NUC
Diverted catapult.
NUC approves medical science varsity for a Boeing. That can be found on page 6. Northeast governors synergize on a Mambila power project. That can be found on page 12. Nigeria committed to renewable energy. Amina Mohammed is saying that can be found on page 9. And bandits confirm adoption of 121 students where in Kaduna State. That can be found on page 12. Electoral bill, sell your vote, pay 2 million naira fine. Finally. Wait, how are they gonna know who sold their votes?
That's it.
What?
That's actually what I'm about to ask.
Is this about to be a counter attack on people who refuse to sell their votes so that they will be accused of being the ones that sold their votes? I'm just saying, movie, I watch too many in Hollywood. The rider under that says 1 year jail term for double registration. So please, if you're doing a fresh registration and you've registered before, if you have registered before, there is a place for you to, if you've lost your PVC or something, is a channel for you to go and get, not
Instead
doing a fresh or doing a double registration with different identities or the same identity.
I'm making yourself a double agent.
1 year jail term for you. All of this can be found. That can be found on page 7 of the Leadership newspaper, and I think this is where we're going to bring it to an end. Thank you for being a part of the show. For those who are watching us online, YouTube, Facebook, shout out to you. And those who are listening, I hope you enjoyed the paper review. Go grab your favorite newspaper and get more updates. Okay. Coming up next is the moment of truth with the Venerable Henry Adelegon. And we're still here giving you all the stories and just so stay connected. We've got more coming your way shortly.